playing Stanley Parable. Never played it in my life before. Thanks, so let's just get into it. So right now I'm on. Please adjust the slider. It's fairly visible. Just get back over there, yeah. Confirm. Let's enter your time. Current time. It is 11:17. No, accessibility settings can be accessed from the main menu. Okay. Oh, they're right here. Infinity. Let's play game. No, the end is never the end. The end is never the end. It's loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
Yes.
Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay. Coffee cup. What's this?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I don't know why it's really like it's weird. There you go.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh no.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Speaking of drinking. Oh. Broken.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
On his left. How about I go straight?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not jump from the cargo. Okay.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Who?
Someone you've forgotten about.
Who?
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Her? Who?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
What's through here? Oh.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Oh god, that's right. Let's see. Yeah. Oh. 427. An apartment
Oh,
building.
Stanley, is that you?
Yes.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? Who want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Oh. Hello.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Good morning, employer. Press M on your keyboard. Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him.
Oh my
and
god.
Every button that he pushes is a reminder of the
Are we
inconsequential
Stanley
nature
now?
of his
Because we're
existence.
pressing buttons that they tell us to. Press V.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home.
Not even at lunchtime.
Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Press P. Fine, I'll do what you say.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown. Fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Press Q. How about press O? Which does not work. Fine, I'll press Q.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
10 o'clock. Press F to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Press B, prepare dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down
Is
one
this
path
turning
lay
into
an
the-
enormous
oh
round
my-
room with monitors
Is
and
this
mind
turning into the
controls.
office again?
And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
R. Press R to tell your kids a story.
It was such a wonderful
But
fantasy.
where?
And so in
Where?
his head, he relived it again.
Are they in
and
layer?
then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free.
I don't know.
Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Press L to tell your wife you love her.
But there is no answer.
Ha,
How could
ha,
there possibly
ha,
be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Please help. Press H to go to sleep.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything
Well,
but
I'm
an
gonna bet.
observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
T.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I
defying
see?
you.
How can I make him look at himself?
C. Question nothing.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please die.
And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
Alright then. Okay. And we are back here.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Probably. There.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm a left. No. Right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
What if I stay here?
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
What? The painting.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left. Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Let's wait until... Damn.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
How about go through here? Alright, let me go through here.
And so he detoured through the maintenance
Red
section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
No. Button. Goodbye.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Up.
From here, it's, left.
Okay.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right, my mistake.
Come on, man.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Sure.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay. Car. Holy man.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
No.
Okay. We just
Employee
get
fired.
back to, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
Oh,
And this
come
time,
on, man.
suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Let's see here. Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Something's gonna have to be different, isn't it?
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors?
No.
Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure.
I guess.
Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Let's start it. Let's go for here. Okay. This way, yes.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Wait, I was still trying to find it. What now, man? Loading.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Maybe. Let's go back. Where's the doors?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Okay. Thank you.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something.
How did this get here?
The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
What?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh, no.
What?
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Of course, you're gonna ruin it.
Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Okay.
All right,
Stanley
I've
Parable
got a
Adventure
solution.
Line.
This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line.
Trademark.
Just follow the line. How simple is that?
I guess. Here we go. Follow the line. Follow the brick road. Yellow. Not. It's
You see,
tape.
the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there.
There's a question mark here.
Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I
We've
was
followed
going
a lot
with
of
all
question
that.
marks.
You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Okay.
Cut the music.
What?
Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important
Do you
later
mean
in the
it's just a
story.
fern?
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully.
Okay.
You won't want to miss anything.
Leaves. You say something witty or what? It's just a fern. Ding dang fern. Goodbye. I got
Wait,
bored.
what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Whoa.
No, not a
bad.
deadline. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Okay. This is Stanley Purple Line again.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh,
sounds intriguing.
This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay. New direction.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever
Pink
it might be,
penguin.
Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Ooh. I'm gonna sneeze there.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Okay.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision.
Where's
From
the
here,
pink
the
penguin?
story is in our control.
I said
How
pink
important
penguin.
we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, so I know that each door has to
Walking
lead
in
somewhere,
circles.
which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Ah, that's where.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending?
But it's prevented
And we're
able
supposed
to
to
go
restart the
anywhere
game, what, eight
or do
times?
anything. The game restarts on its own to find the game
really
line.
how all
Follow
this
the line,
goes?
begin following the
It's all
line, find a
determined?
replica of the office as it
So now,
begun.
according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I
Area
just supposed
restarts
to
the game.
forget? Well, what if I don't want to
There's
forget?
no longer an office.
My
in the
mind goes
backspace
blank
to
simply
wander
because it's written here on this,
in the
this
blackness. Find
wall.
a bookstore, get
Well,
bored and
who
leave.
consulted
Narrator shuts
me?
the game.
Why don't I get to
restart, the
decide?
narrator's
Why
gone
don't
a
I
long
get a say in
time.
all of this?
After a long
Is it
time,
really-
Stanley dies.
No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't
Been
want the game
playing
to keep
the
restarting.
confusion
I don't want to
ending
forget
for
what's going on.
18
I don't want to be
minutes.
trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped?
Oh,
Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
Maybe.
The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
I sit down here.
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, a
I'm
little
not
bit.
quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Okay. I can do stuff, so. I think that was it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Over here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
How about I follow? How about I obey him this time?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
Yep.
No reason to still be here.
At the broom closet. Where I belong.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet.
Yep.
He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yes.
Standing around doing nothing? Why?
Because I can.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Yeah.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out.
Yeah.
But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to
Why
the
make
story
it then?
whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path.
Uh-huh.
Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Oh my. I didn't think it would go bad.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Oh.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
How about I go downstairs?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
Were they going in circles?
None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this,
I'm
he
gonna go back
began
to
to
the
make
broom
other
closet
strange
after this one.
observations.
And see
For
what
example,
happens.
why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Yeah.
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh,
He
dear.
imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so
Whoa.
much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself
Sooner.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. But, okay. I'm gonna listen to you this time.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Bathroom. Guys, I'm back. I just stopped recording for like a few hours. I had to do something real quick, but I'm back, and I'm on here. I'll get to where I was. So let's see. Hang on. Before we get started, I just want to say something. Thank you for actually setting the clock. Both times you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. If I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct, tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want. Even if it's not the correct time, you've earned it. Alright, let's just get back to the video game now. We're back. Look at that. Again. Oh.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk.
Let's watch that. Okay, I will see you back where we were. Okay, I am back. Here. Last time we left off, I was going to the bathroom. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money, Chris. can't even touch the toilet. Through here. It is locked.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2, 8.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
What if
he stepped into the newly opened passageway?
What? Where? Oh, but I'm gonna try to get them to do the wrong password and see what happens. And complete with the action. Then I'll go back here. And I'll go back here and see what happens if I type in the wrong code.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I don't know why it's lagging, but let's just go through here.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Sure, I guess. Wait, we were in this room. Hello? Oh.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I'm trying to find 427. That's what. It's my office right there, 427.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Maybe.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Off, we're on.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Cool.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
The beat the game achievement. And we back. Let's do the.
All
see
of
what
his
happened
co-workers
if we
were gone.
Get it wrong.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah. Let's go through.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Here.
Yet there was not a single person here
Sorry, it's a
either.
little bit laggy. I don't know why.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
Bring
boss's
blood.
office, hoping he might find an answer there.
No. Go upstairs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh. Elevator. We'll see that next time.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody.
Yeah, I know.
He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's
play the
desk.
piano.
What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
I'm gonna keep getting it wrong.
Two, 845.
No.
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Well, whoop-de-doo. How about no? Go here.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Let's go to the room.
Stanley
closet.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's go to the room closet and see where that leads us. 'Cause before, I just walked.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
It's gonna go back inside the broom closet.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go
Broom
up to
closet.
his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No. How about no?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
Heard
No
this before.
reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Duct tape.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yes.
Standing around doing nothing?
Look at the
Why?
tools.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Broom. Broom closet. Huh. There's a broom here.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Oh, this one, I'm not leaving.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yeah, you're gonna insult me because I'm not doing what you say. Is that it? You're gonna insult me.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now.
What is
You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right. When you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Okay.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
So I will be not doing. She's just gonna wait.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley...
Do that and see what happens. Let's go through closet again so we can make him angry.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yep. Totally. Totally missed the memo. No. I'm gonna go in the broom closet.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Let's go to the broom closet. I missed the room closet. None.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's... Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs.
Let's go back and see what it says. Oh! There's papers all around the room.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
So many papers on the floor.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Uh-huh. That's good. Some paper on the floor.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
He boarded up. What a tricky, tricky guy.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I said I was going to do the elevator next, but I'm going to do it now. I can't stop playing this game. This game is so fun. Open door, go through here, go down. Let's go down.
You can hear him.
Oh. Okay. Alright then. This. Normal. But, around here. Okay. I think this is the end of the video. This game's really fun. I'll keep playing it. But, yeah. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And Yes, see you guys in another video. I'm really bad at this, as you can tell. But I have a Discord for your gamers. Be like in the description, website description, Twitch description, and I have a second channel. It's called Pro You Live. That's where I put all my Twitch streams on there, unedited, raw content. Nothing, just the raw experience of the whole life, and see what happens. So, yeah, and I'll be starting streaming on June 10th. If I'm back, from vacation. Might be back on June 10th or a little later. I don't know. But when I get back, the day tomorrow, I will do a live. So, yeah. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If I don't see you, good morning, good evening, and good night. See ya.